Follow us into the Eye Institute.
Hi, I'm Dr. Patrizzi. I'm a primary care and ocular disease resident, and today I'm in the emergency service. We have hours every day, they vary by day, but we take walk-ins for any of our patients who are having issues, whether they're an established patient or not. My job as the resident is to triage, determine if they need to be seen, and then I precept 2 students at a time, and I always have a faculty member as my residency support. Right now, we have, with COVID patients, we're trying to triage over the phone if possible, but sometimes that's not possible, and so we have a room that we triage them in. Also, in our off hours, we have an on-call service, so residents rotate. In the beginning, 2 of us team up at a time, and then later in the year, it's just 1 of us a week at a time, and we take the off hours triage calls. So I'll usually pick up the patient up here and then bring them back to this. Have them take a seat here. I'll take a seat here, close the door, and then you get more of an idea of why they're coming in for our emergency service.
I'm Dr. Ford. It's nice to meet you all. I'm a primary care ocular disease resident here in Suite 3, one of the primary care suites at the Eye Institute at Salus. So I'm just here to explain the process that we normally go through in primary care. What happens is you get assigned to 3 rooms in your suite. Each room has a student. As patients come in, they're assigned to a student, and those students will report to you that day. You're kind of working with them to work through the exam. Basically, I will discuss the exam if they're an older patient, that we know what's going on with the student, kind of think about what we want to do for them today, and we'll roll with the punches as they come in and they have new problems. The student will do visual acuities, history, all the entrance testing, anterior segment refraction. They come out usually at about tonometry to come talk to me about what's going on. And at that point, we make any adjustments to the exam that we need to before I head into the room and double check a few things and we dilate. At that point, we'll wait for them to dilate. We'll have the student complete the posterior segment exam. I'll go in, I'll double check the posterior segment. We will talk to the patient about what's going on with their ocular health, and then I'll go get my resident support, who is a doctor that's assigned solely to help out the residents all day. They're always on the floor. They're just here to help. We go check out with them. Early in the process, we check out every patient with them, we discuss every case, and they usually will come in and say hi to the patient just to let them know that we were talking with them. But as the process goes on during residency, the training wheels come off and we become much more autonomous. So we're in kind of the second phase now where I check out patients with those doctors, but unless there's something unusual, they don't necessarily have to come in if they agree with my management plan or if their comfort level is high. At that point, we discuss with the student why we did what we did. We finish up the chart and we call it a day for that patient. And that's kind of the general process of what we do. You will typically have 1 to 2 patients per student per shift here, and we have 1 or 2 shifts a day in primary care. Also during COVID-19, we have something called Blackboard Collaborate, which means I can access any of the rooms and talk to the students if I need to without having to go in. So if there's dead time or if we want to do kind of a roundtable talk, we can just have everyone log on to their computers and we can chit chat kind of virtually, which is nice. But I actually think we have a student coming to present right now, so we'll kind of show you what that looks like. Y'all set?
Yep.
What we got going on here today?
So we have a 55-year-old white male. He's in for his diabetic eye exam.
Cool.
His blood sugar is 92. His last A1C was 5.9, and he's had diabetes for about 10 years.
Okay. Is he controlled with any medications?
Yes, he's controlled with metformin.
Excellent. He takes it.
Mm-hmm.
Your reports? Okay, good. Anything else going on with him today?
Nope. Other entrance testing was pretty unremarkable.
Sure.
He's myopic. I did find a little bit of a change in his prescription, and we got him seen 20/20.
Excellent. Big change, little change?
Just a little bit.
Okay, and we'll take a look at that prescription together here. Mm-hmm. Anything else you're worried about for him?
Nope. His IOPs were 14 and 14, so.
Excellent. Well, I'll come with you, we'll check them out, we'll double check the prescription, and we'll get the drops going.
My name is Dr. Preet Dami. I'm a primary care ocular disease resident this year, and I'm going to be showing you our offices, the resident offices upstairs. So you guys can follow me. So, this is our hallway where all the resident offices are. You guys follow me. So usually you share an office with with another resident. So I'll bring you down to my office. So these are all the resident offices. Dr. Minzlunch's office is right here. This one is mine. You get a little key so you can just, maybe get it to open. All right. So 2 desks, so this is my desk here. You get 2 monitors, which is really helpful when you're charting, so you don't have to keep switching back and forth. And then you have your own phone. So what's cool about this phone is once you set up your answering machine, you can download an app on your phone. And anytime you get a call and a voicemail, you get a notification on your cell phone, letting you know that you have a call or a voicemail, which is really helpful because you're not gonna be up here a lot, because you're mostly gonna be downstairs in the clinic, in the team room with students, but it's just nice to know. Usually I'll come up here when we have our admin time to work on finishing up charts, doing students' MetaTrack grading, stuff like that. What's also nice is, and it's especially nice because of COVID right now, there's a VPN access so that you can do all your charting at home too. So you can just download it, they'll give you instructions once you guys get here, download it and are able to finish your charts at home on your laptop at home. And then, so we have access to printing, the printer's down the hall that way. And then we also have LRC, which is the learning resources. So you're able to get journal articles, research papers, all that kind of stuff through the library online. So we basically have resources to everything. And anything that we don't, if you contact the learning resources people, they kind of give you access to it. Yeah, so it's really nice to have this space to just kind of get away from all the craziness downstairs. And yeah, I think it's just nice to have, and to be around with the rest of your co-residents too. It's nice to just kind of be up here and hang out.
Hi, my name is Fiza, one of the Pediatrics and Binocular Vision residents, and welcome to the Pediatric and Binocular Vision Service. Over here we offer, we see children up to 6 months, as young as 6 months of age, and we do that just to ensure that their eyes are working well, there's no eye diseases or any eye turns, and we make sure we address all the parents' concerns. We like to see children before they go to school, again making sure that their eye teaming skills are working great. 80% of our learning is visual. That's why we want to ensure that children are ready to go for school once it starts. So another thing we also offer is our vision therapy service, which helps look at the eye teaming skills and eye focusing skills. So this is one of our 3 vision therapy rooms. Currently this is something called the Farhart chart. You can use a filter over it, and the filter ensures that both of the patient's eyes are working together. So, and then they use red-green glasses, and that ensures that a patient's, both their eyes are kind of doing their job. Another really easy tool that we use and very, very effective, it is called the Braque string. So with the Braque string, what we're doing is actually helping focus our eyes as close as we can and train our eye muscles to work together. And it helps with focusing skills and the teaming skills of our eyes. This is again a wonderful tool that patients can use when they go home and then also in clinic as well. Yeah, so this is called Red Red Rock. It is also an activity we use in vision therapy very, very cool. Basically, you can use these glasses to match all the tiles to the letters that they see. One of the eyes sees one of the tiles and the other eye seeing one of the other letters. Again, we make sure that they're able to focus well together and that both of their eyes are working well together as well. Vision therapy is like going to the gym for your eyes, and this is one of the many activities that we do. So this was the Vision Therapy Room 1, and we can now go over and check out the other rooms. So another activity we use that very commonly, it's called vectograms, or basically in it we're also checking if both our eyes are working together. So what you do is you put these really cool 3D glasses on and you look at this vectograms, and basically you practice your eyes crossing and relaxing. And so we make sure that all patients are able to do this activity, again making sure that their eyes are able to focus, work together, and complete these activities. And they also look cool doing it. This is Vision Therapy Room number 3, where we basically use screens and use virtual systems to be able to help our eyes work together. So this is one of our, it's called an SVI, and basically it is helping our eyes move together, and it's called saccadic movement. Very important when we're trying to read. So helping our reading abilities, and especially important for children to make sure that their reading abilities are the strongest, especially growing up. So I can demonstrate how one of them works. Basically, you are looking at this and you are pressing circles. That's not working. So basically you're using your hands and pointing at different circles and symbols, and you have to use both your hands and your eyes together to be able to complete these activities, and how well your eyes work together gets practiced in here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Morendi. I am the first year neuro resident.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tina Zhang, and I'm the second year neuro-ophthalmic disease resident, and we're going to go ahead and walk into our neuro office now.
And so in the neuro office, we have the residents sit over here. Usually doctors over there, but we're not going to pan over there. And then we have usually our MRIs, and we have all of our neuro files here, so all the neuro patients that we typically see. The people that are referred to us are usually people who have either movement disorders or any optic nerve disorders, or anything that's kind of hard to explain why it's happening, I guess, any visual symptoms, as well as anyone with like normal tension glaucoma and any type of like I said, just weird like visual field defect. Anything weird pretty much gets sent to us, and we do all the workup and everything like that, which is amazing and I love it. The first year neuro residency, you're in neuro a lot, as well as ER and some of the other specialties. And so we rotate through all the specialties, so you get a little bit of a taste of everything, but just like a heavy dose of neuro.
Yeah. And so like Dr. Morendi said, just to piggyback off of what she mentioned with regards to our service, again, we're the neuro-ophthalmic disease service. So again, we focus on conditions in which there's some kind of nerve issue. So again, like you mentioned, any kind of optic nerve condition or any kind of nerve with regards to the ocular motor function, things like that. And so again, we're a referral service, and so we usually get referrals either from patients that we see here at the Eye Institute from the primary care service, or if we get sometimes outside referrals from other optometrists, other neurologists, people like that. So we do see a wide variety of patients, and we are a pretty heavy schedule as well. In terms of our patients, we see a good number of them with a whole variety of conditions. So in terms of being in this particular service, there will never be a day that's not exciting. I can tell you that. And then with regards to being in your second year of the neuro-ophthalmic disease resident, it's a little bit different. So you are still spending time at the Eye Institute, similar like you did with your first year, but you do end up going on to external rotations. And so with regards to external rotations, you will be spending time with neurology. You'll also be spending time with neurosurgery, neuro-ophthalmology, and radiology. And so these are all external rotations that will be incorporated during your second year. And so again, you'll still be spending time, of course, back at home base at the Eye Institute, but you will be also spending time on the external rotations. Another great thing about this residency is that during your second year, you do get to have more didactic duties. So for any of those who are interested in teaching, or at least experimenting with teaching, you will have the opportunity to go ahead and do that in your second year. And again, with this residency, I would say that it is kind of more of a fresh new residency. I think that's great because that means it's amenable to change. And so that means if you feel like maybe I want to do more teaching or want to do a little bit of less teaching, you can kind of adjust it as you need to. They're very open to hearing suggestions, both Dr. Malloy and Dr. Draper, who are in charge of this residency. Of course, they'll still have to do a little bit of teaching, but again, depending on where your interest lies, you can adjust your schedule as you see fit. And so just to kind of give you all a preview as to what's going on currently because of the current pandemic and the COVID situation, we're using a lot of virtual teaching tools at this time at our clinic. So we use something that we call Blackboard Collaborate. Basically, it's a specific made Zoom type of online format where we can go ahead and actually watch and listen in on exams as they're occurring real time. And so as a resident, of course, you'll be going ahead and seeing these patients directly, but on our end, we're able to actually watch it virtually, which I think is kind of nice, and maybe Dr. Monday can speak on that behalf, since she's, kind of more fresh with regards to this program. But I think it's kind of nice because you get this kind of real-time input as well, and direct learning that you don't normally get if you don't have this kind of collaborate session. So we are adapting, and I think we're actually finding that this kind of virtual online format with seeing the patients in real time, but on like a virtual platform, has been very beneficial in terms of the learning process.
And I know that because we're limiting the amount of people in the rooms, especially with COVID, we're having recorded sessions. So we will take a different camera and record the session so people either at home can watch it, so like first, second, and third years, as well as some of the fourth years. So the fourth years usually will observe upstairs, and it's live, and it's always through Blackboard. And it's really great because we're able to share our screen so they can look at any of the scans we got, or let's say we ordered an MRI and we're interpreting it. We can share the screen and go over the different scans to show them what we're looking at, as well as have questions and answers and all that stuff, and a really good discussion, especially when the patient's either dilating or busy in testing. And so it's really nice to kind of get that whole feel of being in the neuro clinic, even though we're not all here physically.
And so I'm going to go ahead and now bring you into this other room that's within our testing zone and suite. And so this room here specifically holds 2 Goldmann visual fields, one over here and one on that side as well. And the Goldmann visual fields are a great tool because you can go ahead and use them to determine if there's other more peripheral visual field defects potentially. And so the Neuro-Ophthalmic Disease Service and the Low Vision Service uses this tool quite frequently. And so as a resident in the Neuro-Ophthalmic Disease residency, you do learn how to use this Goldmann visual field bowl within your first couple of months here, which is excellent because it's a tool you can use in the future as well. So we just wanted to go ahead and show this to you.
Hi, my name is Laura Davis, and I'm one of the primary care ocular disease residents here. So I'm here in the pre-screening room. So here we just have an autorefractor and an NCT. Sometimes we do this on the pediatric patients, otherwise we'll just try to get like an eye care. And now I'm just gonna take you over to the imaging suite. So we're gonna head this way. So we're kind of walking past now the triage room, and then we're gonna go down the imaging hallway. So now in here we have, this is where one of the techs will sit, and then also when we have the interior segment doctor come in, he's an ophthalmologist that works up the road a little bit. He'll come in on like Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons. His techs will also sit here and work up the patients before we take them back. On this side over here, you'll see we have one of our OCTs as well as one of our old visual fields. On this side, this is the corneal topographer. We honestly don't use it too much. That's more for the contact lenses. I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's head back down this way. We don't really use that room. In this room, we do have, there's a laser. So when the ophthalmologist comes, his name's Dr. Lewis, he does mostly YAGs here. He hasn't been doing it since COVID, but he does sometimes do YAGs. In this room, we actually have a Goldman bowl that's usually only used by the neuro doctors here. So there's actually someone in there now using it, so I'm not gonna show you, but we do have a Goldman bowl. We'll go down here. In this space, we have 2 more visual fields. So these are actually brand new. They're new since I was a student here last year. So we actually have the liquid lens in these, so you don't have to like go through and fumble with the lenses. It like puts whatever prescription you want in, which is pretty sweet. And then we have 2 more in here, but again, these are the old ones. So we haven't been using them too much again since COVID. We're kind of starting to ease back into it. But it's nice that we have 5 visual fields that we can use. All right, let's head back out. Okay, good, they left. So again, now we have second OCT here. This one's a little bit newer than the first one that was down the hall. So this one actually you can do OCT angiography on as well. Usually there's a B-scan that sits right here. Someone may be using it right now, but we do have like a special populations clinic, so that's really helpful for when we're in that clinic. And then back here, let's see, all the way back in here, we have a Claris. This is actually only a couple years old. I got it while I was a student here. So typically during COVID, we haven't been dilating a lot of our patients. We've been taking Claris instead, which is a really helpful tool. It also does FAF images, so if you're ever questioning like optic nerve hydrogen or anything like that, that's a nice tool to have as well. So we just came out of the imaging suite. Now I'm just standing in one of the rooms in suite 3. I was gonna talk about some of the other services that we do have here. So like I said before, we have that ophthalmology person that comes in. He runs the anterior segment service. He has his own practice that's right up the road, 611. It's about 10 minutes away. It's kind of connected to the school itself. He runs anterior segment, so any like cornea issues we send to him, as well as any cataract surgeries we want to refer, usually get sent to him as well. As far as retina, we also have other ophthalmologists that come in every Wednesday morning, and they run the retina service out of Suite 5. So that's a good, if you ever have any retina issues, they're always willing to refer. Either you could have them be seen here or it's their Philadelphia Retina Associates, so you could have them even go out to their practice. They have multiple practices, so it's really convenient for our patients. Besides that, we have a uveitis service, so another ophthalmologist will come in. I believe it's one Friday morning a month, and she runs a uveitis service, also out of Suite 5. And then there's also a oculoplastic service, so another ophthalmologist will come in. I believe it's one Wednesday a month. And then so like Schlesian removals, or if you want to refer for like a blepharoplasty or anything like that, he'll consult with you on those. And then we have the glaucoma service. So that's run by Dr. Bennett, and he right now has a fellow, Dr. Mahar, who will be finishing his fellowship up, I think, within like the next month. So it's kind of cool because Dr. Bennett was a part of the OATS study, so he's kind of, the big name here when it comes to glaucoma. So that runs, I believe, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. It's a few days a month, but I think they're going to start taking on even more patients when Dr. Mahar opens up his own book. So they manage a lot of our glaucoma patients. And then finally, we also have the contact lens service. So that's run by Dr. Gaidesh. And they will cover all specialty contact lenses, sclerals, RGPs. They'll do specialty soft. So any kind of specialty contact lenses, they're a good resource for our patients as well.
Hi, I'm Milena Stefanovic. I'm one of the ocular disease primary care residents here at PCO. Thursday afternoons, I work in the dry eye clinic with Dr. Higa, and I get to do direct care when I do that. And so in this room, this is where our dry eye patients come first. We have our keratograph here. We have our tear lab where we measure their tear osmolarity. And we do all that before I take them back into the exam room and do some extra dry eye testing. We also have a MIBA graph and a MIBA flow. If we decide that our patients need LipiFlow, we tend to send them to Dr. Lewis. He does that there. He also does IPLs, and we work very closely with them. He's our cataract anterior segment specialist, so we do a lot of work with him as well. And down here we have Inflammadry, which is the test we use to look for inflammatory markers. Because dry eye, as you might know, a lot of inflammation.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brown. I'm the low vision resident, primarily working in the Feinblum Low Vision Rehabilitation Center, and we're gonna head down there right now. So this is the low vision rehabilitation room. We have a lot of our low vision equipment here. On the desks, you can see a lot of what we call closed caption televisions. These are also called video magnifiers. With patients with severely reduced low vision, sometimes these are the only devices that can help them reach their near goals. In this cabinet over here, we have some other smaller video magnifiers and some other equipment that we might trial with the patient. Our rehab therapists would set separate appointments for these patients just to make sure that these are functional for them with their activities of daily living. And in tandem with that, we have some books. There's also some canned goods, some magazines laying around just to make sure that patients feel comfortable with their everyday environment using the low vision devices. On this side, we have a lot of our tints. So sometimes patients become very light sensitive due to their low vision pathologies. So these help them address any indoor, outdoor glare, and also helps, again, rehabilitate their low vision goals. So this is an example of a closed caption television, also known as a video magnifier. These are very helpful because they not only provide patients with some of their rehabilitation needs, such as high magnification, good brightness, but it also has the ability of enhanced contrast. By adjusting knobs, patients can fine-tune what specific settings they like to help them reach their low vision goals. By adjusting the contrast, it helps reduce some of the glare and helps the reading acuity become more functional for them. With this XY table, they are allowed to keep their reading material still, and they can move the text on the big screen within their functional area of vision. And then other knobs help adjust for brightness as well as magnification. And a big tool like this is very easy because there's very colorful knobs, very functional moving tables, so it's very usable for their activities of daily living. So this is a room that we also use to help rehabilitate patients with their visual goals. It is staged like a kitchen, therefore we're able to simulate their home environment with the low vision devices. Sometimes you need non-optical devices to help them with their goals, such as bump dots here. So versus patients actually resolving acuity and seeing, they can use tactile cues in order to feel where they need to go. In this instance, we want them to be able to cook safely, so we use dots so they know what settings they primarily use. We house a lot of our low vision devices here. So here's some charts that would test for contrast and some other reading types of functional acuities. In these cabinets, we hold a lot of our magnifiers. So we have sight scopes and telescopes. And these will help patients with their distance viewing goals, like if they want to sit down and watch a movie or go to a sports game, these devices can become very helpful. And over here, we have a lot of hand and stand magnifiers. That way, if a patient wants to be able to read more functionally, we can provide them with that magnification and equivalent power necessary to do so. If a patient winds up needing glasses dispensed by the low vision department, we actually fit them with a pre-selected set of frames, and we keep those in here as well. Also for children, patients with low vision and many specialty needs, we also fit their glasses as well. And up here we house a couple more low vision devices. We keep a lap desk just in case we need patients to be able to simulate what it's like to read at home. And that is pretty much the rehab kitchen.